up, my good people? Welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, and follow, because there is a lot more to come in 2025. Today I'm going to be talking about the most memorable moments from 2024. Where do we even begin? Where do we even begin? I could probably make a 5-hour long video on this, but I'm gonna try to sum it up in some of my favorite, maybe even not so favorite, but just memorable moments. And I think leading up to WrestleMania, obviously, there was so many. I really love what The Rock is doing now, like randomly showing up on a PLE with nothing to say at the end after someone returned. Wasn't really like, didn't really sit well with me, but I just think that The Rock coming back as a whole in 2024 and performing in WrestleMania and showing up to SmackDown after SmackDown and, you know, giving us where he sang the song about Cody and Mama Rhodes, and just the performance that he put on night one and when he entered the match night 2 at WrestleMania. The Rock's return in general, I think, is one of my favorite moments. I guess it's more than just one moment. It was kind of like over a couple of months, but for me, before I became a huge Roman Reigns fan and before I became a huge CM Punk fan, The Rock used to be my number one. When I was a kid, I thought that he was it. Like, he was my favorite wrestler. I used to walk around, you know, can you smell, you know, all that stuff. So seeing him perform on TV and in person at WrestleMania this year, definitely it healed some unresolved trauma for me, I will say, some of my childhood trauma. And also, it was my dad's one of his favorite wrestlers too, so seeing him at WrestleMania perform and leading up to it was just something that I can't even put into words. Another amazing, memorable moment for me was the return of Naomi. So for anybody who's not familiar, you know, she was with the company for a good amount of time. She left because she was not a fan of what was happening. She went to TNA and was their champion there. She dropped the title to return to WWE, but we weren't sure when she was going to return. It was more or less like rumors. And then she showed up at the Royal Rumble, and I believe she was entrance number 2. One of the first entrances, and she lasted all the way like to the end. So seeing the crowd hype her up and seeing how emotional, you know, she was getting whenever I was feeling the glow was also something that was very special to me. Another really, really cool moment that I actually got to be a part of in person was Damian Priest and his cash-in on night 2 at WrestleMania. I got to see that in person, and I will show a clip of that after I finish yapping, you know, because it's what I do best. But that moment, and I'll be the first to admit, I never disliked Damian Priest, but he was not like, oh, he's one of my favorite wrestlers. Like, I liked the Judgment Day, and obviously Rhea is like my favorite female wrestler, so anything she was a part of, like, you know, I was game for. I liked the faction as a whole, but I never like looked at Damian as like a singles competitor and was like, he's my wrestler, like, I love him. But I think that after he cashed in and became the champion for a couple months, he 100% proved himself, and he is now one of my favorite wrestlers. Like, top 7 favorite wrestlers, I'd say he's in there. Like, he has become one of my favorites, and I think it's really awesome that I got to see that, like, turning point for him, because the crowd, we went fucking nuts. We didn't think that he was we didn't think he was cashing in. I mean, how many times did he try to cash in already and it failed? So we didn't think that at WrestleMania he was going to try again, you know? I mean, we had all the Punk and Drew crap going on, even though Punk was friggin' announcing the second night, like, him, you know, on board at work, but I did not think that that was going to happen. So seeing that happen in person, it was so unexpected, was a really, really special moment. can't explain how special it was to be live in person and watch Roman Reigns come out night 2. That special entrance he had, and even Cody Rhodes, and I don't dislike Cody, I'm just not a huge Cody Rhodes fan, I'm not gonna lie to you, his character doesn't do it for me, but that's neither here nor there. But his entrance was also dope as hell. I mean, obviously night 1, the entire, main event, I could be here forever with that, but props to Seth, Cody, The Rock, and Roman for doing their thing WrestleMania weekend. But specifically night 2, the entrances that they both had for the final match was, I'm gonna use the word, it was cinema. Like, oh my god. There's not really another word to describe that. He had them playing the drum room, and he came out with like Paul Heyman, and you could tell that something was going to happen. Now, I know everyone was like, oh, Cody had to finish the story, but you could just feel the emotion, and you could feel like it was different. Like the vibe in the arena, and from him, and when he came out, just everything. You could tell that, it was probably making him emotional. He how long was he chanting for? Over 1,300 days? Like, come on. So, seeing him lose was not, I was not happy. I'm not gonna lie. I was probably the only person in the crowd that was not happy. It was cool to see, Cody get his flowers, as much as I don't think that, I would have liked Roman to still be champ, but I get that, Roman's story had to, continue on. How many interferences did we get? Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, The Undertaker, John Cena, The Rock. When I tell you that I literally thought I was going to pass out during that last, like, I'm not kidding you, when they all started coming out, and I'm not really a fan of, what The Undertaker has been doing this year, but before that happened, I'll just say, this is before he had, who on his podcast, and we'll leave it at that. I literally don't think I've ever screamed that loud in my entire life. When I heard that bell, I was like, no fucking way. Like, this is not happening. No fucking way. And it was just insane between him and Cena and The Rock. I mean, Cena had been, he returned for other moments, but I've never got to see John Cena come out in person, so hearing his music in person and seeing him come out was really special. The moment him and Rock had in the ring was really special. Seeing, I don't remember if it was Jey who speared Jimmy or Jimmy who speared Jey, but seeing them go off, like, the ramp was insane, because I don't know if I'm assuming that was supposed to happen, but I don't know for sure. So seeing that happen in real time, we were like, what the hell is going, like, did you see that? Like, they were like, boom, off to the side. So that was really special too. It was the biggest WrestleMania of all time in my city, so of course I'm not going to shut up about it. However, moving on, after WrestleMania, what happened with the Bloodline, I can't believe that we saw that happen in real time. Like, I know that, everybody clearly who is a wrestling fan has watched this happen, but when we look back in years from now, and we talk about some of the greatest storylines, the Bloodline's going to be, I'm sorry if you don't agree, it's going to be number 1, but seeing Solo take charge and become the, he said he's becoming the tribal chief, and him taking the Ulafala, and him turning on Jimmy, and we have the premiere of Tama Tonga, which at first we were like, I wasn't very familiar with his work in New Japan Wrestling. I know who Haku, his father, is, his adopted father, and I knew that his brother was Tonga Loa, but I wasn't, I knew they had wrestled under the name with New Japan Pro Wrestling under Gorillas of Destiny. I knew they were a part of the Bullet Club, but I didn't really watch their matches. I'm not going to pretend that I was a fan forever. So seeing that unravel, seeing Paul Heyman week by week age almost, you could tell he's stressed out, his hair turns white, he looks like he has, just about had a mental breakdown, if not on the verge of one. Seeing Tonga Loa make his appearance, seeing Jacob Fatu make his appearance, he is one of my favorite wrestlers right now. He is so friggin' talented, and I know that if you watch WWE, you already know that, but like his aura, just his power. He's a friggin' monster. And when he finally made his debut, I screamed so damn loud. I mean, the entire arena where it was live erupted as well. I mean, you could just tell, like, he is somebody who you knew as soon as he got to WWE and there was a spotlight on him, like, he was going to take off. And I know that they've been, like, kind of holding back with him. Here I go off topic, ranting about Jacob Fatu, but, I mean, I love you, Solo. You got to give the man his credit. You got to give him his credit. He does his big one, and I don't even think that we've seen, like, a fourth of what this man can do and what he's going to do in the future. But, you know, neither here nor there. But everything leading up to that, and then when they put my poor wise man through the table, which that's not really like a oh my god moment, I was so happy. But that was friggin' nuts. Like, they put Paul Heyman through a table. His poor feet were in there kicking. Like, that's something we're going to remember. We're going to remember that. We're going to talk about that for years to come. That was definitely something. When we saw Jimmy and Jay finally speak for the first time, that was definitely, you know, that was something memorable. But, you know, before I get ahead of myself, the return of the goddamn century, the only other return that I have seen, like, and watched live that I have probably freaked out that much over, if not more, was when CM Punk returned. I thought I literally was going to have a heart attack, like, when he returned last year. I know that, you know, we're not talking about 2023, but when he returned at Survivor Series, like, I literally thought that I was about to jump out my window. Like, I could not believe it. But anyways, Roman Reigns, when he returned, I get goosebumps talking about it. I have goosebumps right now. I'm not even trying to be corny. Like, I don't think I have ever seen a crowd react that way. The way that they reacted to him in his return, especially because we didn't know, like, we had an idea that it was coming, but we didn't know when it was coming. He wasn't with Paul. He didn't talk. He came out there and he gave Solo the business. Him and Cody had that stare down. Not to mention he looked like a goddamn Marvel character. Like, that was insane. And then, you know, when he showed up on SmackDown, you know, the weeks after that, and he didn't talk for a while, and we were watching him get packed out, we were like, what is going on? I just think all of that was, like, crazy to watch in real time. And then we cannot forget Jimmy's return. That was insane. I know people who were at Bad Blood, and they were like, we have not heard the crowd react like that ever. So that was really special, I think, for Jimmy, you know, to get his flowers that night and the pop that he got and him and Roman reuniting. So that was just really, I think, a memorable moment of this year. Another moment that haunts me, I'll say, is when Dom Mysterio turned on Rhea Ripley and Finn turned on Damian. The Judgment Day turned on the Terror Twins that night, and he kissed Liv, and we were all like, what the hell is going on? Because I had a feeling it was coming, but I didn't think, like, I didn't think that it was coming when it did, and I thought that more had to happen. That was nuts. I give everybody their 10s for when that happened. I think my jaw was dropped and I was speechless for a good, like, 5 minutes. Like, I could not believe that happened, and Rhea deserves her flowers because she looked, not only did she pop her shoulder back into place during that match, but she looked devastated. And I know a part of it could have been because she wasn't going to be a part of the Judgment Day anymore, but she did what she was supposed to do during that match because we all felt that emotion. We felt it. So that was crazy. Not to mention my original Judgment Day. Oh, my Shayla. My babies. They were my favorite faction other than the Bloodline.
God. Oh my God, my Shayla. My Shayla.
The original one, not the one where not when they added Carlito and all that. We're not gonna get there, but Finn, Dom, Rhea, Damian, they were literally what I looked forward to every Monday night. So seeing one of my favorite factions come to an end, breaking up, switching, you know, the dynamic around, that was very sad. Not to mention, now that we're on the topic, why in God's green earth would you ever change the Judgment Day song? I don't know. that's neither here nor there. I am going to circle back to WrestleMania really fast. Seth Rollins definitely was the MVP of WrestleMania weekend, and seeing how hurt he was and how he could barely stand and how quickly he returned 2 different times, you have to give the man his flowers, and I think that is something worth remembering for the year 2024. Chad Gable and Otis splitting, I know that wasn't like, oh my goodness, like that is the craziest thing that ever happened, but that was definitely something, you know, that I remember just because I love me some Otis. I love Maxine Dupree. Seeing that happen, now he's an American Made, you know, if you would have told me at the beginning of the year that was going to happen, I would have been like, nah, that's not going to happen. Like, what are you talking about? I'm only going to go over a couple other moments because I don't want this video to be 9 hours long, you know. The Hell in a Cell match between Punk and Drew is by far my favorite match of the year. Like, 10s across the board. I love, you know, I don't love every match being bloody, but they did their big one. That entire feud, the way they were able to keep it relevant when CM Punk was hurt, they both deserved their flowers for that. That, I cannot even explain how incredible that match was.
Oh my goodness. The ultimate FU from McIntyre to Punk.
War Games, Survivor Series War Games, Paul Heyman's return at the SmackDown the week before with CM Punk offering help to Roman and the OG Bloodline. I could not believe what was happening before my eyes. I could not believe it. The segment leading up to it. Favorite wrestlers, CM Punk and Roman Reigns are my top 2 favorite wrestlers. I also love Paul Heyman. He is my wise man. I love that man. I literally had a sign the second night of WrestleMania that said, I am a Paul Heyman girl. Paul, if you're watching this, I love you. I love you, Paul. But no, seriously. So seeing that happen, seeing the tension between them during the match at War Games, seeing them shake hands at the end, even when the night they showed up in the ring when everyone had their ones up and then Punk did the, you know, go to sleep thing, that was just fucking incredible. It was incredible. It's one of my favorite moments of the year. Another one of my favorite moments of the year, I have to say, definitely would be the Wyatt 6 premiere. I was not too familiar with Bray Wyatt's work, but I did go and catch up on a lot because I knew who he was and I'd seen some of the matches, but I didn't really watch like a lot of like the Wyatt family. Like, so I went back and really, you know, tried to do my research and homework when it came to that. I watched the documentary where his family talks about his life, and I cried like a baby. That documentary about his life broke my heart. Not to mention just seeing Bo, if you will, Taylor, also refer to him as Taylor Rotunda, and how much they had planned to do together. It was just a very hard watch. So seeing them be able to pull off the Wyatt 6 and seeing how they're doing something different than has ever been done in the WWE, and just the thought and the dedication and all the backstage promos, just the characters, the lore behind it was insane, and I have really enjoyed what they've done this year. But the premiere, like when they went backstage and, you know, killed Chad Gable before he resurrected, as I like to say, it was cinema. There's no other word to describe it. It was cinema. I've gone on about the Bloodline a million times, you know, obviously the original Bloodline getting back together. What more could I want as a Bloodline Roman Reigns Uso? The promo that Seth and Punk delivered last night is now my second favorite promo of the year. Hands down. Now, I obviously am a huge CM Punk fan, so I will try not to make this biased. However, there's no one better on the mic right now. I'm so sorry, there's just not. And what a way to end the year. What a way to end the last Raw on the USA Network before it moves to Netflix. I am pretty quite certain that they're not really big fans of each other in real life. I'm sure they're professional. You know, they have to discuss some of the things they've said to each other before they go out and, you know, deliver these promos. But you can feel like the tension between them. Like you can only pretend and act for so long. Like there's something there, and I really hope that they bring this storyline out until Mania, or at least bring it out to close to Mania, because this is years in the making. This is years in the making, and I think that it is too special of a story and too many layers to have it just end after the Netflix premiere. So those are my favorite moments of the year. Given that it is 9 p.m. on New Year's Eve, that this probably won't be out until tomorrow, so if you're seeing this, Happy New Year. Hope you made your vision boards. Don't forget to blow your cinnamon in the door. There's so much more where this came from. Yap City, all 2025. Also, KO's right, in case you forgot. Let me just add that in there. Who's ready to see Mommy take her title back? I am. I will catch you on the flip side. Also, yeah, what is this? I don't know. Sorry, I'm actually not a dirtball. I don't know what this is, so that's fine. Happy New Year! Okay, bye.